If you've seen ancient Roman ruins, you'll no doubt have wondered what their homes looked like inside. Today, we are going to explore the luxury Roman villa, usually found in rural areas and owned by the wealthy. Roman villas were more extensive than the domus, a traditional family home, and featured not only living quarters, but also agricultural buildings, gardens, and sometimes even amenities like baths and recreational areas. Villas were retreats from urban life, where landowners could manage their estates and enjoy leisure activities. As you enter, you'll be greeted in the vestibulum. The vestibulum was the main entrance hall of the Roman villa and was usually only found in larger, grander properties and had rooms leading off it. The vestibulum led to the atrium, which was considered the most important part of the house, as it was where guests would be greeted. Above in the center was a square roof opening called the compluvium. Directly below it was the impluvium, which allowed rainwater falling from the slanted roof above to be drained into an underground system. Leading off the atrium was fauces, which were similar to the vestibulum but smaller passageways to other areas of the residence. Off the fauces was the tablinum, an office of sorts for the dominus, the male of the house, where he would conduct business. The Roman dining room, the triclinium, consisted of a low square table with benches or stools. The cullina, the kitchen, was dark, and the smoke from the cooking fires filled the room, as the best ventilation available in Roman times was a hole in the ceiling. The toilet would be next to the kitchen and would be flushed by pouring water from the kitchen into it. This would then go down into a cesspit with the kitchen waste, or, if connected, into the sewerage system. Bedrooms, or the cubiculum, usually led directly from the atrium. It was used for the functions of a modern bedroom, sleep and sex, as well as for business meetings, as they didn't always have a traditional bed. Servants' quarters were much more basic. Moving from the house to the gardens, we come across the private baths. These were found both indoors and outdoors, and were found only in the wealthiest of homes. Depending on the size of the villa and the land owned by its occupant, the garden could vary in size from a simple herb garden to a luscious courtyard. Wealthier owners had long courtyards that had water gardens with reflecting pools and fountains, and extensive reservoirs for water supply. These would be lined with plants, trees, and herbs. Banquets and dinner parties held at Roman villas were elaborate affairs that showcased the wealth, status, and hospitality of the host. Here's a glimpse into what such an event would entail. Preparation. Planning for a banquet typically starts well in advance. The host would send out invitations to esteemed guests, often members of the elite class, including senators, wealthy merchants, and other influential figures. Servants and slaves would begin preparations days in advance, procuring ingredients, arranging decorations, and setting up the dining area. The menu for the banquet would be carefully selected, featuring a variety of dishes showcasing the finest ingredients available, such as exotic fruits, imported spices, and fresh seafood. The banquet would be held in the atrium or peristyle of the villa, providing a spacious and elegant setting for the guests. The dining area would be adorned with luxurious furnishings, such as marble tables, ornate couches, and decorative wall paintings. The tables would be set with elaborate tableware, including silver or bronze plates, goblets, and utensils. Entertainment was an essential aspect of Roman banquets. Musicians, dancers, and acrobats might be hired to perform during the meal, providing guests with a spectacle to enjoy. Recitations of poetry or dramatic readings could also be part of the entertainment, showcasing the cultural sophistication of the host and their guests. Sometimes, exotic animals might be brought in to entertain the guests, adding an element of novelty and excitement to the event. Food and drink. Roman banquets were known for their extravagant feasts, featuring a wide array of dishes served in multiple courses. The meal would typically start with appetizers, gustatio, such as olives, nuts, and small seafood dishes. This would be followed by several courses of main dishes, primae mensae, including roasted meats, fish, poultry, and various vegetable dishes. Desserts, secundae mensae, would round out the meal with offerings like pastries, fresh fruit, and sweet treats. Wine flowed freely throughout the banquet, with a variety of vintages and blends available to suit the tastes of the guests. The wine might be diluted with water to make it more palatable and to prevent excessive intoxication. Socializing and conversation. Banquets were not just about food and entertainment, but also about socializing and networking. Guests would engage in lively conversation, discussing politics, philosophy, literature, and current events. The host would often take the opportunity to showcase their knowledge, wit, and hospitality, ensuring that their guests had an enjoyable and memorable experience. Overall, a banquet at a Roman villa was a grand affair, designed to impress and delight the guests, while reinforcing the social bonds and status of the host within Roman society. Romulus and Remus were twin brothers, whose miraculous birth and upbringing led to the founding of one of the greatest cities in the ancient world, Rome. Their story begins when their grandfather Numitor was the rightful king of Alba Longa. However, driven by jealousy and desire for power, Numitor's younger brother Romulus violently overthrew him and seized the throne. Romulus had Numitor's male heirs killed to eliminate threats to his rule. He then forced Numitor's only surviving child, his daughter Rhea Silvia, to become a Vestal Virgin priestess, ensuring she could not give birth to any potential claimants to the kingdom. Rhea Silvia's sacred virginal status as a Vestal Virgin, combined with her royal lineage, attracted the interest of the powerful god Mars. As the god of war and masculine virility, Mars chose to impregnate Rhea Silvia, siring semi-divine twin sons through her. When Rhea Silvia became pregnant, the enraged Romulus ordered the newborn twins, Romulus and Remus, to be drowned in the Tiber River, seeing them as a threat to his illegitimate reign. However, the servant in charge of the task took pity on them and instead placed the twins into a basket and pushed them down the river Tiber. They were safely carried to the area of the Seven Hills and came to rest at the site of the future Rome, near the Ficus Ruminalis, a sacred fig tree of historical times. There a she-wolf suckled and fed them until they were found by the shepherd Faustulus, and he raised them as his sons. As youths, Romulus and Remus became embroiled in a conflict that revealed their true ancestry and Romulus's treachery against Numitor. This led them, with the help of Numitor's supporters, to kill Romulus and restore Numitor as the rightful king of Alba Longa. It's unclear how long Numitor formally ruled as king of Alba Longa before his grandson Romulus founded Rome, but it was likely a brief interregnum. After killing the treacherous Romulus and restoring Numitor to his rightful throne, Romulus set his sights on establishing a new capital city to rule over. However, the brothers then quarreled over where to found their own city, with Remus favoring the Aventine Hill and Romulus the Palatine. Remus was killed during this dispute. Romulus went on to establish the city of Rome on Palatine Hill in 753 BCE, naming it after himself. This violent act between brothers marked an inauspicious start for the civilization that would become one of history's greatest empires. On April 21st, 753 BCE, a date celebrated as the official birthday of Rome, Romulus founded the settlement on the Palatine Hill after conducting ritual sacrifices and making auspicious auguries. He marked the city's boundary with a sacred pomerium, or furrow ploughed by a ceremonial ox-pulled plough. From these humble ceremonial beginnings, Romulus endeavored to build up his new city-state of Rome through diplomacy and warfare. He offered asylum to runaway slaves, exiled persons, and other outcasts, quickly growing Rome's population. The neighboring Sabine tribe, unhappy with the emergence of this new power, responded by attacking. Romulus decided to acquire new citizens in an unscrupulous manner. He invited the Sabines to a festival in Rome and had his men abduct all the unmarried Sabine maidens present, including Hersilia, who would become Romulus's wife. This rape of the Sabine women sparked a war. Though outnumbered, Romulus's forces defeated the Sabines after the kidnapped women brokered peace between their captors and kinsmen. This doubled Rome's population and integrated the Sabines into the new civilization on the Seven Hills. Under Romulus's reign as Rome's first king from 753–717 BCE, he established the Senate, laid out military and civic laws, and grew Rome into a formidable power through the conquest of neighboring lands and peoples. His reign represented Rome's earliest transition from a village into an urbanized city-state, poised to achieve even greater glory. We hope you have enjoyed this video about the birth of Rome and the story of Romulus and Remus. For more, please be sure to subscribe to our channel. Welcome to a journey through time, where we uncover the secrets behind one of history's most enduring architectural wonders, the Roman Colosseum. In this video, we'll delve into the ingenious engineering techniques and materials employed by the ancient Romans to construct this monumental amphitheater. But first, let's understand the scale of this monumental feat. Built between 70 and 80 AD under the Emperor Vespasian, the Colosseum stands as a testament to Roman engineering prowess. Its elliptical shape measures 189 meters in length, 156 meters in width, and reaches a towering height of over 48 meters. To achieve such grandeur, the Romans employed innovative construction techniques that were revolutionary for their time. One of the most remarkable aspects of the Colosseum's architecture is its use of concrete, a material that allowed for unprecedented flexibility and strength in construction. Unlike modern concrete, which primarily consists of cement, the Romans used a mixture of volcanic ash, lime, and aggregate. This concoction, known as pozzolana, possessed remarkable hydraulic properties, allowing it to harden underwater and withstand the test of time. But it wasn't just the materials that made the Colosseum extraordinary. It was also the innovative design of its structure. The amphitheater's tiered seating was supported by a complex network of vaults and arches, distributing the weight evenly and providing strength without the need for massive load-bearing walls. Beneath the arena lay another marvel of Roman engineering, the Hypogeum. This intricate system of tunnels and chambers allowed for the seamless movement of gladiators, animals, and scenery, adding to the spectacle of the games above. But perhaps the most astonishing aspect of the Colosseum's architecture was its ability to accommodate a wide range of events, from gladiatorial combat to naval battles. The arena could be flooded with water using a sophisticated system of channels and drains, transforming it into a stage for epic naval engagements. Throughout its long and storied history, the Colosseum has served as a symbol of Roman ingenuity and innovation. Despite the passage of centuries, its architectural brilliance continues to captivate and inspire visitors from around the world. As we marvel at the grandeur of the Colosseum, let us not forget the remarkable achievements of those who came before us. For in the stones and arches of this ancient amphitheater, we find not only a testament to human creativity, but also a lasting legacy of the power of engineering and architecture.
Trevi Fountain, located in the heart of Rome, is a famous Baroque masterpiece that has captured the hearts of millions of visitors over the centuries. Designed by Italian architect Nicola Salvi and completed by Pietro Bracci in the 18th century, the fountain stands at an impressive 86 feet tall and 161 feet wide. The history of Trevi Fountain dates back to ancient Roman times when the Aqua Virgo aqueduct was constructed in 19 BC by Marcus Agrippa. The aqueduct provided water to the baths of Agrippa and the fountains in the city. Legend has it that a young virgin led Roman soldiers to the source of the aqueduct, hence the name Aqua Virgo. In the 15th century, Pope Nicholas V commissioned the restoration of the Aqua Virgo aqueduct, which led to the construction of a small fountain at the site of the current Trevi Fountain. In the 18th century, Pope Clement XII held a competition to design a new fountain for the site, which was won by Nicola Salvi. The design of Trevi Fountain is a stunning example of Baroque art and architecture, featuring a central figure of Oceanus, the god of the sea, riding a chariot pulled by seahorses. The fountain is adorned with statues of abundance and health on either side of Oceanus, as well as various other mythical figures and sea creatures. One of the most famous traditions associated with Trevi Fountain is the tossing of a coin over the left shoulder into the fountain, which is said to ensure a return trip to Rome. It is estimated that over 3,000 euros are thrown into the fountain each day, which are collected and donated to charity. Today, Trevi Fountain remains one of the most iconic landmarks in Rome, attracting millions of visitors each year who come to marvel at its beauty and toss a coin in the hopes of returning to the Eternal City.
The Roman imperial succession was often marked by violence, intrigue, and the sudden demise of rulers. From the assassination of Julius Caesar to the crisis of the 3rd century, the path to power was frequently paved with treachery and bloodshed. We start our story back in 44 BC on the Ides of March, March 15th, with the assassination of the dictator, Julius Caesar, a pivotal event in Roman history that set the stage for subsequent power struggles and conflicts. In the latter years of the Roman Republic, a powerful figure emerged whose actions and ambitions posed a grave threat to the very foundations of the ancient system of governance. This was none other than Julius Caesar, the celebrated military leader and politician. Caesar's rise to power. After his decisive victories in the Gallic Wars and the civil war against his rival Pompey, Caesar had amassed immense political and military power, effectively making him the de facto ruler of Rome. In 49 BC, Caesar was named the perpetual dictator of Rome, a position that granted him near monarchical authority. This move was viewed with great concern by many in the Senate, as it concentrated power in the hands of a single individual, a stark departure from the principles of the Roman Republic. Furthermore, Caesar began accepting honors and titles traditionally reserved for kings, such as being named Father of the Fatherland. This only fueled the fears of those who saw his actions as a direct threat to the republican system. As Caesar's power grew and his monarchical tendencies became more apparent, a significant portion of the Senate, particularly the conservative aristocratic faction, grew increasingly alarmed. They feared that Caesar's unchecked ambition would ultimately lead to the end of the Roman Republic and the diminishment of their own influence. The senators, who saw themselves as the guardians of the Republic, viewed Caesar's actions as a direct challenge to the very principles upon which their system of governance was built. They believed that allowing one man to accumulate such vast power would undermine the delicate balance of power that had sustained the Republic for centuries. As tensions mounted, the stage was set for a confrontation between Caesar and his opponents in the Senate. The fear of losing the Republic, a system that had endured for generations, drove many senators to take drastic measures, setting the stage for one of the most pivotal moments in Roman history. While Caesar's power and ambition grew, so too did the opposition against him within the Roman Senate. A group of senators, bound by their belief in preserving the Republic, began to conspire against the dictator they saw as a threat to the very foundations of their system of governance. At the heart of this conspiracy were Marcus Junius Brutus, Gaius Cassius Longinus, and Decimus Brutus. Brutus, once a close friend and ally of Caesar, had turned against him, driven by his conviction that Caesar's ambition threatened the Republic they had sworn to protect. Cassius, too, had fought against Caesar in the past, but was later pardoned. However, he could not reconcile himself with Caesar's consolidation of power, which he saw as undermining the principles of the Republic. The conspirators, estimated to number between 60 and 70 senators, devised a plan to assassinate Caesar during a session of the Senate. They knew that in the theater of Pompeii, where the Senate would convene, Caesar would be surrounded but relatively unprotected, presenting them with an opportunity to strike. On March 15th, 44 BC, a date that would forever be etched in the annals of history as the Ides of March, Caesar attended the Senate meeting at the theater of Pompeii. As he took his seat, the conspirators surrounded him, and in a brutal display of violence, they began stabbing him with their daggers. According to historical accounts, Caesar initially resisted, but he was soon overwhelmed by the sheer number of attackers. The daggers of the conspirators struck him 23 times, and he fell, bleeding and lifeless, on the floor of the Senate. The assassination of Julius Caesar, the man who had risen to become the de facto ruler of Rome, sent shockwaves through the city and the entire Roman world. The conspirators, driven by their fear of Caesar's growing power and their belief in preserving the Republic, had committed an act that would plunge Rome into another civil war and ultimately pave the way for the rise of Caesar's adopted heir, Octavian, and the establishment of the Roman Empire.